This the squad, y'all.
How close can I get?
Logan about to do his interview.
I want you to do it in advance.
Logan about to do his interview for his legendary showcase.
How's that?
It's almost time. Got the team working hard. Got the team working hard. Mike on the clutch, pulled up. Let's see how this gonna turn out.
I mean, you can probably be right there.
Let's see.
Camera B rolling.
Logan Jackson interview.
Sound speed. Camera B rolling. And sound speeding. Alright, action on you, Francis.
Who is Logan Jackson, and what defines your voice as a filmmaker?
I'm someone who's from New Orleans, who is a product of my environment and a product of my family, someone who believes in community and believes in the power of healing from that community. And I think who I am directly pours into my voice as a filmmaker. I make a lot of films that are dedicated to the working class, blue collar type material, people who are living on the margins and doing the best they can with the situations that they have. And those are the films that I like to empower and voice to the voiceless people. So Logan Jackson is a product of that community, and that is my artistry and what defines me.
Got it. Can we have you look at Francis so we get it?
Oh, okay, I thought I was looking,
Okay.
I'm looking at Fred.
So should I ask again?
I mean, that was such a good answer. I don't know if you could do that again.
Nah, I mean, I'll just go to the next question.
Okay. What fuels your passion to tell the kind of stories you create?
First and foremost, I'm a family man, right? So my mother, my father, my sisters are big inspirations into who I am and why I want to create. I think growing up in New Orleans, you see a lot of different things, and you become sensitive to that. So I'm a very sensitive person, and I live within those very vulnerabilities. So I think that became my fuel to create, which is creating for change, trying to impact those communities, trying to impact society, use my voice to change law, to change perspectives of people around the world, but directly from my environment of New Orleans. So they're global tales, but they're very singular for my distinctive voice.
Cool. Which filmmakers have influenced your artistic journey, and how do they show up in your work?
I think that the biggest inspiration has been right now the Dardenne brothers. The Dardenne brothers are very dear to me with this feature film that I'm creating, and it represents my style now. A lot of international filmmaking, Agnes Varda, they often do a lot with a little. They don't have big budgets, they don't have big resources, but they still make beautiful poetic imagery and incredible stories of marginalized people, so I gravitate towards those type of auteurs. Spike Lee, of course, who is a pioneer in ushering in the new voices, but then also that work ethic that he instills in the indie hustle that he has. Those type of principles I learned from him. So I would say the Dardenne brothers, Agnes Varda, Spike Lee, and also Steve McQueen, just because he's incredibly poetic and technical.
How would you describe your approach to directing, both visually and emotionally?
I take a very minimalistic, realistic approach. A lot of handheld, a lot of poetry, different things that I can let the audience wonder with their imagination. I deal with a lot of silence as well. A lot of heavy-hitting drama at times, but it also has this social commentary that I believe is important and fused by narratives. So my style is kind of docudrama at times. It replicates real life. I always define my work as, can you tell when the movie starts and when film ends, or when the life starts and the film ends? So it replicates that, art imitating life.
What short films have you written and directed where they have been screened at? And where have they been screened at?
Yeah, My Hero, that was like my festival debut, the short film. We won Palm Springs with that out the gate, and we went on to do 50 plus festivals. We played in pretty much like every state. And we played international, 3 countries, Australia, Switzerland, we did Canada. We did so many different things with My Hero. Played in Alaska, he was on the front page in Alaska, Montana, like all these different rural areas where I thought that my work wouldn't necessarily be accepted, but it was kind of celebrated, and that was a big turning point for me. So My Hero, we did 50 plus festivals. Leonetti, we premiered at South by, was grand jury nominated, which is one of the biggest festivals in the world. And we also went on to do 20 more festivals. And then the Bluest Hour, which is the recent one, we premiered at Martha's Vineyard there, and it was a Project Evolve film, so I was very proud of that going around. We also did the Proof Film Festival, so at this point we've done like 80 festivals, so I've lost count.
In what ways have your past producing experiences shaped your readiness for your feature film directorial debut?
Yeah, I think just having that by any means necessary mentality. When it's indie film, when you're trying to create something, there's going to be a lot of doors shut. There's going to be a lot of no's. There's going to be a lot of people that say, don't do it, don't do this. To do this, despite all of that, you have to have this type of mentality of tunnel vision, right? So my previous short films, I've all self-financed. Everything came out of my pocket. I didn't have any handouts, any sponsorships, or anything like that. I just had a vision, I had an idea, and I had the wherewithal and will to do those projects by any means. We're gonna make it happen. So that's what's fueled me and prepared me to do this feature film the way I'm doing it. And I also, like I said, working class people, so I keep it minimalistic, but high in the artistry.
If you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be and why?
I think passionate, just because this is what I do. Filmmaking is my passion, and I kind of do it religiously. That's all I think about at times. So I would say passionate, driven. I'm very driven. My father and my mother instilled a lot of work ethic and put a battery in my back and said, like, you can do anything, but nobody's gonna hand it to you, go get it. So I'm very driven in that regard. But then also urgent. I'm very urgent. Things affect me very deeply. I'm very sensitive. I'm a Cancer, so I'm emotional. So when I hear stories, when I see things and it affects me, I feel like I have to do something right away. And the quickest way for me to do things is through my films, through my talent of artistry. So that's the urgency in me to do those stories.
What is Wither about at its core?
At its core, Wither is about a mother who is facing her deepest fears, right? She loses custody of her daughter through a mixed diagnosis of medical kidnapping, and she's also dealing with the fear of needles, which is trypanophobia, right? So like she's confronting a lot of different fears that was instilled in her early on, but met with this immediate obstacle of how do I get the biggest thing in my life and the thing that I care the deepest for back to me. And like I said, that spawned from a deep fear that I have of losing my son. So that's why the story is kind of being told now.
Why is now the time to tell this story?
I think now is the time to tell the story because it's a timeless story. There's a lot of families who are separated due to medical kidnapping. It happens every single day, and there's thousands and thousands of kids who are not reunited with their parents. Maybe because they don't have the legal aid, they don't have the money to fight that type of systemic issue. But I think now, more than ever, the film deserves a conversation, and the topic deserves a conversation.
Generational trauma deeply impacts Black families. How does your main character confront her past to heal herself?
Yeah, I think confronting the past to heal generational trauma is very difficult to do. And the way she does it in this film is a work in progress type of way. The first step is admitting admitting that you are affected by something deep rooted. So she goes through this process of realization and self-awareness through the help of a lawyer who becomes a potential love interest, Tyson. And along that friendship and bond, they confront her deepest fears and her trauma while also having tough conversations with family members who originally planted those seeds. You know, so that's how she does it, and hopefully we can do the same.
Why are you the right person to tell with her?
I think I'm the right person to tell this story because it spawned from my deepest fear of losing my son to a misdiagnosis. My son suffers with autism, and a lot of times that can be misconstrued by the public and society. And parenting, period, is very difficult, and so sometimes it may not look like